J Storm.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the ZayMoolaSportsPodcast. I'm your host, Isaiah, and it is time for another 2026 NFL Draft Scouting Report. And today we have Tennessee cornerback Jermod McCoy. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right, y'all, let's start with his measurables. He's 6 feet, 193 pounds. You look at this 2024 stats, since he did not play in 2025 due to injury, and he had 44 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 9 PBUs. And now let's get into his strengths. I think his first strength is that he has elite ball skills. During his collegiate career, he has 6 interceptions and 16 PBUs. He is constantly around the football. He has great hands. He does a great job of tracking the ball when it's in the air. And when he has an opportunity to make a play on the football, he is going to do so. And, sometimes corners can be content with letting receivers get easy catches, but not Jermod McCoy. I'm telling y'all, when he has a chance to make a play on the football, whether that be intercepting it or knocking it down, he is going to do so every single time. So you really have to love that about him. His next strength is his coverage versatility. He is elite in man coverage, y'all, whether that be press man coverage or off man coverage. I think he's the best man coverage cornerback in this draft class, but he's also elite in zone coverage. And I don't think a lot of people give him his credit for being elite in zone coverage, because he does a great job of reading the quarterback's eyes and making the play on the football. And he is very aware when he's in zone coverage. Sometimes when you put defensive backs in zone coverage, they can get lost out there because they're not sure what area of the field they're supposed to be defending. They're not sure, what receiver they're supposed to be defending. But you don't have to worry about that with Jermod McCoy, y'all, because when you put him in zone coverage, he's going to make plays. You put him in man coverage, he's going to make plays. So overall, y'all, he's just a really great man and zone coverage corner. So you really have to love that about him. His next strength is that he has fluid hips, right? He is able to turn his hips quickly and accelerate down the field with receivers. And this is a very important skill to have, y'all, because as a corner, you're going to get beat. It doesn't matter how great you are. You're going to go up against great receivers, and sometimes they're going to beat you. But when you do get beat, you have to be able to turn your hips, y'all, and accelerate down the field to catch up to them and make a play on the football. And the times, and it wasn't many times, but the times that Jermod McCoy did get beat, y'all, he showed that he, was able to turn his hips quickly, accelerate down the field, go make a play on the football, y'all. And so I just really loved it about him because, not all corners have this skill set, y'all. This will kind of make or break you as a corner because, again, you're going to get beat, y'all. It doesn't matter how great you are as a corner. You're going to get beat sometimes, but the elite corners, even when they do get beat, they're still not out of the play because they have fluid hips. They're able to turn their hips and accelerate down the field and keep up with these receivers. His next strength, y'all, is that he has great closing speed. And as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, he's elite in man coverage, but it's not just press man coverage. It's also off man coverage. And why is he elite in off man coverage, you might ask? Because he has great closing speed. So say if he's playing 10 yards off a receiver and the receiver runs a slant route, well, he's going to be able to, close the gap, y'all, and make a play on the ball. And again, this is another important skill set to have as a corner because this just makes you, more versatile as a player, y'all, because he's not just one of those guys that you just strictly have to put in press man coverage because he doesn't have great closing speed. No, you can put him in off man coverage and he is going to excel, y'all, because he has great closing speed. And again, if he's playing, 10 to 15 yards off a receiver, it really doesn't matter because as soon as he recognizes the route, boom, he's going to close that gap, y'all, and go make a play on the football. His next strength is his anticipation skills. Man, he is able to read and react to things before it happens, y'all. And this is a rare skill set to have because not a lot of corners can read and react to things before it happens. A lot of corners, they have to wait to see what the receiver is going to do, what kind of release he's going to give them before they're able to, react to what he's doing, y'all. But with Jermod McCoy, as soon as he sees what the receiver is doing, he is automatically able to make a play on the football. He does not wait, y'all, for the receiver to complete his route. When he sees the type of release he's giving him, boom, he's coming out here to make a play on the football. And then, I think his last strength is that he has amazing technique. Man, he got coached up very well at Oregon State and Tennessee because he has great technique. He has amazing footwork, y'all. And when he is in press man coverage, he knows when to jam to receiver, when to play off of him. So he's just a very technically sound corner. And this is probably the biggest thing that I appreciate about him, y'all, because you could tell when the guy's been coached well versus when he's just playing off pure athleticism. But he doesn't, y'all, because yes, he's very athletic. Yes, he has great speed, but he's very technically sound, and that's why he's the type of cover corner that he is. So you really have to love that about him. And now let's get to his weaknesses, y'all. And I think his first weakness is his injury concerns. As we all know, he tore his ACL last January. Now, I think, y'all, he's probably close to being healthy because that has been a year ago now. But, teams, and I can understand why fans, too, would have concerns about this because we didn't see him play football last year, right? We just going based off what we saw in 2024. But I wouldn't be too concerned about this, y'all, because we know in this generation, these players, when they get these ACL injuries, they're able to really recover from them, y'all, and it doesn't have a big effect on them. But again, I can see why teams, this would kind of scare them. But I think, y'all, that he's close to being healthy. And I think we're going to see, what he does at the combine. So they can really get some teams, some ease, y'all, put their minds at ease about his injury. But yeah, I wouldn't think this is going to be like any long-term thing with him. I just think, it's something that he had to deal with. But I think, y'all, he's going to show that he, is able to overcome it and still have, end up being a very productive player. You look at this next weakness, y'all, he can be grabby. And this is the thing when you're dealing with a guy that's an elite, man coverage corner, is that, yes, he's great in man coverage. He's great in press man coverage, but he is going to be grabby at times, right? Sometimes he can, just grab the receiver a little bit too much because he's a very aggressive corner. He's a very physical corner. But, y'all, honestly, I'm fine with this because you can coach this out of a corner. I've seen corners like Sauce Gardner and Patrick Surtain, they kind of had struggles with this early on in their careers. And now look at them, y'all. They don't have those problems anymore, right? Because you can coach a corner. You can coach a corner how to not be as aggressive, how to not be as physical, when he's jamming a wide receiver. So again, like his injury concerns, I wouldn't be too concerned about this, y'all. But this could, maybe scare away some teams because you just look at my Tennessee Titans. This is the reason we traded away Jarvis Brownlee Jr. last season because of his penalties, right? He was, he grabbed the receivers a lot. He accumulated a lot of penalties. And the Titans, we didn't like this. We ended up trading him away. But most teams, y'all, most defensive coordinators, most defensive coaches, they're not going to be too concerned with this because they love when a player is very aggressive, very physical. Because, y'all, it's easier to, kind of calm a player down than it is to really hype him up. So they just need to, just tell him to bring it down a little bit when it comes to him grabbing these receivers. And I think his last weakness, y'all, is his tackling technique. And let me say this. He is a willing tackler, so I love that about him. But his technique needs some work, y'all, because I think he tries to go for the big hit every single time. And sometimes when you always try to go for the big hit, what happens, y'all? You end up missing tackles. I saw that some with him on tape. He would try to go for the big hit, but then a running back would end up going by him. The running back would run through him because he was not able to bring them down. So I think if he gets with the right defensive coordinator / DB coach, y'all, they can just tell him, hey, every single tackle doesn't need to be a big hit. You don't have to be Ray Lewis or Brian Urlacher on the field. Just go out there, make a good, clean tackle, and call it a day. Because his main job, is going to be locking down elite wide receivers in the NFL. But sometimes he is going to go, against a Derrick Henry or a Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey. He's going to be one-on-one with them, y'all. He has to try to find a way to bring them down on the field. But again, this can be coached out of him. And now let's get to my pro comparison on my prospect grade from him. And my pro comparison from him, y'all, is Darius Slay. He just reminds me so much of Big Play Say in terms of his ball skills, his coverage versatility, his closing speed, y'all. Him being just a technically sound corner. So I love this comparison for Jermod McCoy. And then my prospect grade, I gave him a grade of 92, meaning he's a great prospect and he should be a consistent Pro Bowler, y'all. And listen, I know a lot of people have concerns about his ACL injury, but I don't, y'all. I believe he's one of the best prospects in this draft class. I think he is the best corner in this draft class. And I think, y'all, once he goes to the combine and proves everyone that he is healthy, then everyone's going to remember just how much they were in love with him. Because, y'all, before this injury, everyone was saying he was a top 5 pick. I still believe he could be a top 5 pick. Definitely is going to be a top 10 pick, in my opinion, y'all, because you just don't find too many corners that have his skill set, the ball skills, the coverage versatility, the closing speed, y'all, being technically sound and having great anticipation skills. I mean, he is a total package that you would want a cornerback to me. And because I think he's going to become one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL for years to come. So there you have it, man. This is my 2026 NFL Draft Scouting Report on Tennessee cornerback Jermod McCoy. Remember, y'all, laughs good message. So what? Make sure you get your daily dose. Y'all know I'm an man. I love y'all. God bless. Peace.